everybody? Welcome back to the Divergent Comics YouTube channel. Today I have two creators that I've been following, I want to say, for at least the last 2 years. I found out about them from a good friend and really like the energy that they give. So we have Kat and Phil of Lifeline Comics. Thank you guys for jumping on here. Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure. Phil Falco here. Kat Calmia, Lifeline Comics together. Really excited to chat.
I appreciate you guys from coming on here. Like I said, I've been following you all for about at least 2 years, probably longer, if I really think about it. But I like how you all like do your stories in the sense of, you take a story that is really a slice of life or just about a person just going through a normal day type of situation, and you make it kind of fantastical, which I think that's really cool and really interesting that see done, which is part of the reason why I wanted to bring you on here. Also because I'm also a big fan of how very inclusive and diverse you try to focus your whole publishing company on, which is really cool.
But words really mean a lot to us, and you hit the nail on the head of what we like to do. We love telling real stories. We love telling stories with diversity. We love also getting a hook and doing something different with those stories.
When Kat and I first met, one of the first things we bonded over is how much we love like character stories, particularly like supporting character stories. We we bonded over like loving Cordelia Chase from Buffy. So,
Mm,
character is
A
always
more
the first thing
supporting
we
character, right?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
not even like the Willow. It's like actually
No, it's just
the
like we
third
love the
supporting
the
character.
crazy trajectory of a character can take, and that's always the first place we start when we tell a story. It's like, all right, what's our character? What's the journey they're going to go on, and then what's all the stuff around that, whether it's slice of life, realistic, or completely off the wall fantasy.
nice, awesome. Well, I'm glad you actually mentioned how or you two first meeting and things like that, because that's, like I said, I'm still relatively new to you guys, so I'm not familiar with your journey into becoming a, I like to call you the dynamic duo of comic making currently. So tell the people how you two met and how you started making comics.
Yeah, I can start and then I'll pass the baton to Phil. We met in college, but not in the way you think. Once we were like, oh, at a class together. We actually met because I had a friend who I made in college who was friends with Phil, and so happened that we were both going to school in Manhattan, but we're all from Staten Island, which our other friend likes to call a whole nother country in New York because it's like its own little suburb, but it's still kind of New York City, kind of not. So that was kind of like, oh wait, you're from Staten Island? That's crazy. But I'll pass the baton to Phil to finish that story.
Yeah, Kat is a comic reviewer on YouTube. She's been reviewing comics as Comic Uno for well over a decade. So I actually had seen her reviews before I met her in person. I
Nice.
saw there's not like an infinite number of people reviewing comics. So when you're a comic fan, you tend to see the familiar faces. So I met her. I was like, oh, I've seen your videos, and she was like, yeah, I get that a lot. And like I said, we hit it off. We have very similar taste in media, so we bonded over TV shows we liked and started seeing movies together, and just kind of became quick friends that way, and didn't talk about comics all that much for two people who love
For like
comics.
years too. It
Yeah,
wasn't like, oh, it was a month. I would say it was like 2 years, 2 to 3 years, where we just like hung out every once in a while. And then once we started seeing movies weekly, that's when Phil's like, oh, I kind of want to make a comic book. What advice do you have? Not even
at that
thinking
point
we'd write together.
at that point, Kat had already published a comic. She had worked with a small publisher to publish her first two books, her first two superhero comics. So, as we were approaching 2020 pandemic time, I had studied writing in college, so I was like, oh, I want to break in this space. I've always loved comics, so I approached Kat for advice, and she was super super helpful.
Pandemic. But not because of the pandemic. It was actually before the pandemic you were planning it. It just so happened to be that
It
you publish
launched.
it during it. Yeah.
My first Kickstarter
Mm.
launched in March 2020, so like right when everything
Oh,
shut
nice.
down. But it was like that lead up to it. Kat and I were like talking about comics, and then we were both publishing our respective comics. I was doing my horror book. Kat had two superhero books, and it started kind of as like a joke at like a socially distanced Halloween party. We were like, oh, what would a crossover look like between your superhero book and my horror book? And we plotted the whole thing. Like it was a joke and then it became serious. And we were like, oh, we should write
Mm.
this, especially if like, we want to like table together at cons. It'd be cool to have like your books, my books, and then a book in between that we both write and can sell together. And it was such a smooth process. And at that point, we were already like much better friends, very good friends. So at that point, we were like, oh, like that was easy to write. Let's write something else together. And we both wrote a webtoon together, Slice of Life, which is one of our most popular properties. And at that point, we were just like, all right, maybe we should work together all the time because we're very similarly minded in both the writing but also like the business side of comics. So we really found that we were bringing each other up a lot.
Funny too, because it like I think most people like build a business together. That's like they go into it like
Hmm.
playing like I'm going to build a business and a publishing company. So it's funny that how organically it happened. That's like our favorite thing when organic things happen. Like you're not planning it, and then this thing happens. So it's cool. And like Phil said, we just have such like minds of not just creatively, but also in a business sense. Like we have phone calls every day being like, oh, how do we improve this? Like, how do we do this? And I think that's what makes us as successful as we can be.
I like that. And I really like that story of how you two kind of organically came together. Um, I think the running joke should be for, I guess all millennials at this point is that 2020 really was the line of delineation for everything because it's like everything not only changed socially, culturally, but I think a lot of things changed for us in regards to how we approach relationships and business. So it's really awesome to see that kind of transition into, I would say personally, I don't know if you two would agree, but I would say a very successful publishing company for you all.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is more successful than we could ever imagine, which we're so happy about. And obviously, we're always striving to become bigger and to get people to read even more of our stuff. But like, yeah, I'll say that every day we try to be humble and very be like, oh man, we're really lucky that we get to do this for a living, because
And
there's
try
some
to
days. Yeah, go on.
sorry, and try to work with as many people as we can. We do a lot of anthologies. Like that's one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that Lifeline Comics is really known for. And we
Yeah.
started because Cat's bisexual. We'd have so many conversations about like queerness in general, but especially bisexuality. And at the time that we launched that first volume, like not many people were talking about bisexuality as much. So we were like, oh, like this is something we're passionate about. Let's put it out. And the reception was so warm, and we found it was so fun to work with a variety of people that now we do like 2 or 3 anthologies a year. Try to really like give people their first opportunity in comics or help people who are already in comics elevate their profile, get more published work that they don't have to lay out money for. So that's one of our big goals, diverse comics, but also giving a lot of opportunities. And it's been really rewarding.
There is that like element of like when you get out of college, right? And this goes to writing or any job, you're like, well, how do I get a job if everyone keeps saying you need 5 years of experience? I'm good at this thing. I've learned all these stuff. I don't have any opportunities. And I think writing, there's like tenfold of that, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's who you know, or like, oh, have you worked for Disney? Have you worked for this? And there's
Do you have
no
any published
opportunities.
work?
Do you have capital? Yeah. Do you have any published work? Do you have capital to make published work? So we want to give the opportunity for people who are talented creators to have that resume boost because that's just such an important element to comics. And I feel like there's just not as many opportunities as they used to be. So we want to give those opportunities where we can. And we just love putting those anthologies together. It's
It's
just fun
actually
for
fun.
us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I actually find that to be probably the best thing to come from just like learning more about you two because often, I've heard a lot of people say, the best way to get into comics is to self publish or to get it in an anthology. And to have a publisher that is willing to lend part of its audience to someone who is either just starting or even for myself where you allow me to put one of my books in your indie digital bundle, like things like that, absolutely phenomenal. I love that, and I think that it's what makes you all not only just like really big in the space, but also like I can't find anyone that would ever say anything negative about Lifeline Comics. So like I find that to be really awesome, honestly. I love it.
That's what we want, and we appreciate that because we just want to be open to people. We want to no gatekeeping. We just want to give the opportunities to people that honestly, like, if we had to redo this, I don't know if we would have been able to, right? Like, all times have changed. Like, I don't want to say we got lucky. It's all hard work, but like, there
Hmm.
is an element of luck too. It's like timing. Again, that bisexual anthology, like Bill was talking about, is just like people weren't talking about that at the time. So there
Hmm.
was just, it was like good timing. So
That's true.
like, we want to help as many people as we can to get their start or to, also pay people. That's something that is a big part of what we want to do for anthologies. I remember when we were starting a lot of anthologies, again, you had to have your own capital to make a story. And I was just like, oh, it's such a weird medium where this is like the only place where you have to pay work, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like we want to pay people
we
for the
both had we had both partaken in anthologies where we had to, lay out a lot of capital and not make it back and not really see much information about that going in. So it was always an
Oh.
unpleasant surprise. We always tried to, with our anthologies, be very clear going in, like, oh, like, you're getting a page rate, you don't have to lay out money, like,
Hmm.
that's what we're publishing your work, and that's our view of it, and it's been positive, and we just love the community. I think comics, it's a relatively small community, but like, it's
Agreed. Yeah.
very positive. It's not all positive, obviously, but we try to surround ourselves with the positive side of it, and there's a lot of it, which is great.
And that's why, like, this week, it's so funny because me and Phil have been like kind of gathering things together to get ready for San Diego. And we had a busy June. We had like a lot of events, so we were like, "Oh man, we've been so busy." But it's like so exciting to be busy for like going to San Diego. It's just like it's like it doesn't even feel like work. We're just like, oh, I'm excited to see my friends. I'm excited to like get these opportunities, and that's really like fun. Like, there's this like big weekend ahead because then like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's gonna be Comic-Con, and your head's gonna be spinning, but we're so excited about it because the community is such an important element, and that's a place where you could find a lot of community.
I definitely agree. I love going to Comic Cons. I'm glad I was able to actually meet you two in person at Chicago Comic Con, which is really cool. That was the first time I had ever been to C2E2.
Oh wow.
So that was like kind of, I guess, a whirlwind, best way to put
It's a
it.
great
But
show.
it is. It's really fun, really big. I didn't realize how big it was. Like, I knew it was going to be big, but it was bigger than I even anticipated.
It's a big artist alley, which we like. Like, that's
Yes.
something I really enjoy about like C2E2 or in any of the Repop shows. They do a really
Hmm.
good job at building their artist alley, which is my favorite part about going to a
C2E2
Comic
in
Same.
Con.
particular is very
Mm.
like comics focused, which is nice too.
Hmm.
Like, obviously they welcome artists and all of that, but like there's definitely a big push for actual comics, which is great. You don't really see that in an artist alley.
That is sure is really great. So, my question that I've always wanted to know, because I really like the name Lifeline Comics. How did you two come up with that name?
So funny. So we knew we needed a company name at some point because again, it goes back to the organicness of like somehow we made a comic, then we made a webtoon, like, oh wait, now we have a business. So we had to come up with a business name. And one year we were supposed to go to MegaCon and things fell through because it was after COVID, and we had a plan to go to Disney. And we're like, let's just go to Disney. Like, that would be fun. So me and Phil ended up going to Disney, and I'm a huge Disney World fan. Like, I go at least once a year, and they have this thing called Magic Bands. And Phil had only gone to Disney what, twice at that point, or
One time
twice,
before.
one time. So when you've been to Disney before, like, you could show the ropes because I don't know how anyone goes to Disney without having someone who's gone. So I was like saying, this Magic Band, it's your lifeline. It's your
And she
lifeline.
kept
Don't lose
saying it.
it.
She's like, "Don't lose your lifeline." And at a certain point, I was like, because like Kat said, at that point we were very conscious of the fact that we needed a name for our business. We couldn't just keep being Cat and Phil forever.
Hmm.
And then at one point, she was like,
To a
"Don't lose your
Ringo
lifeline."
too. We were
Sorry.
applying to we were applying for the Ringo Awards. I want to say that's why
Okay.
we got a name because we needed like a company name.
Yeah, we were like, "Oh, no one's applying as individual. Everyone has like a company name, like a publisher name under it." And then at one point, one of the 100 times Kat mentioned like, "This is your lifeline," was like, "Lifeline Comics," and she was like, "That's it." And I think we like turned around a logo in like a week from that point and like announced like, "Oh, we're Lifeline Comics now," and we like it a lot. It has a little funny story there, but we also, you know, we like it as a word. We love our logo. We like the idea of like, being like kind of a lifeline, putting out like books that otherwise like might not exist, at least in as much prevalence. So, we're really happy with that.
I definitely agree. I think that's perfect because like we've talked about, like your very character driven stories, people can see themselves in what you all write. So it is really a lifeline. So I like it. Um, so you two both have some projects. One I know that is currently in the Kickstarter, Nightmare in Wonderland, and then another one, another slice of life. Looks like it's supposed to be hitting Kickstarter soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
birthday actually. Believe it or not, we're just we just keep doing things.
yeah. So, tell us about Nightmare in Wonderland and Slice of Life.
I'll give it to Phil. But Nightmare in Wonderland, this is our third installment of the book. It's about Sleeping Beauty, who's and Phil loves my pitch for this one because he has such a different pitch. I'm gonna
She's
do
like, I
mine.
gotta get all these buzzwords crammed in, whether it's organic or not.
Sleeping Beauty, she's a queen. She's ex-lovers with Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and they get stuck in a nightmare version of Wonderland. But this issue in particular is a lot of fun because we wanted to do something different with the Queen of Hearts. So we were like, okay, she likes games. What can we do different? Like the Queen of Hearts has been done so many times. And then it kind of clicked. You're like casinos. That could be really fun. So we did a casino issue of Nightmare in Wonderland, and that's what's live right now. I'm really excited about it. Honestly, it's my favorite issue of the whole series, so I think it's a cool one.
Left out like 200 buzzwords you normally cram
I
in. I'm proud of
know,
you.
I know. I
There was
had
no
so little
assassin
time.
mention.
Oh no!
um,
Forgot about
but
the
yes,
assassin.
that's Nightmare in Wonderland. We're very proud of that. We really like our take on the Queen of Hearts in this issue. And then launching on Monday is Slice of Life. It's the webtoon we mentioned before. So Kat and I did that crossover between our existing books. And then Slice of Life was the first original project we developed together. It's about an anime character, Lady Vengeance, who comes to life, has to learn to live in the real world, and along the way falls in love with a closeted cheerleader named Lucy. So it's very much what the name entails. It's a slice of life series about a fictional character learning to be a real person by doing slice of life things like going to school, going to the mall, falling in love with a cheerleader. And, it's got a very wide cast of teen characters who are like figuring themselves out outside of our two leads. It's definitely the book that we hold closest to our hearts. We're very proud of. And this is the seventh issue. So we've done 6 issues before. They all collect chapters from the webtoon, which is free to read online as a webcomic. And then every print issue also has a bonus chapter that's not available on Webtoon or Tapas. That just kind of expands the world, gives us a look at the past or the present or the future in a lens that we don't see in the public version. In this issue in particular, we tried to give each issue like an identity of the arc that's depicted. Is the first one where Yuriko and Lucy are our leads are officially a couple. They're officially together, so we get to see them navigate the challenges of the beginning of a relationship, have a lot of cute moments like going on their first date together, and then also deal with some drama in the form of Yuriko's dead ex-boyfriend coming back to life as well. So it's a lot of fun. We're really proud of that, and that's launching on Monday.
Yeah,
That's
we're excited
awesome.
for that one. And I love writing real teens because I think there's like like this thing where we're like, oh, I'll just write the teen boppy alpha, Gen Alpha, whatever. And I think we should give more to teenagers. Even when I was a kid, I always loved high school stories because I think it's that one place where everyone's stuck in one area, right? All different types of people. Like when you grow up, you kind of choose the people you're around, besides like maybe coworkers. But if you are working at, let's say, um, a dentist's office, you're all interested in dental work. Like there's some cohesive thing. Like in high school, there's all these different personalities, and I just think it's such a rich
People
place for storytelling.
people who shouldn't be interacting are interacting, and that's one of our favorite things about like high school stories. And also just you're young, it's the point where you're figuring yourself out, you're making mistakes that maybe are a little less credible to make as an adult, even though obviously anyone can figure themselves out at any point. But you have this mix of all these people figuring themselves out at the same time. So it's definitely our favorite kind of story to tell, even though we don't actually tackle it that often. I think we cram all of our love into Slice of Life.
I think that's the reason why we're just like, okay, this is our love for high school stories is in this book.
And we have
So
like our horror
Hmm.
book and our superhero book that are also like, teen characters, but we don't see their lives in high school as much. We see more of their lives as like superhero and horror characters.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree because it feels like the slice of life story is more of like it feels like it's your baby. It's like your pride and love, and it's good to see because you can really feel the actual care put into the story whenever you read it. So I like it. So, uh, one thing that I found to be very interesting about what you all do is you basically release a Kickstarter every month.
Sometimes
Um, right,
too.
sometimes too. But what I want to ask, going into 2026, are there any projects that you're currently working on that you're like really excited for?
Yeah, I kind of think it's going to be in 20. Because Ever After, I think it is the Ever Afterverse stuff that we're kind of building towards is we're really excited about that. And I'll just say we're working with a lot of other people, which is really exciting. I won't say too much, but that's been kind of a big part of the last couple of emails we've been getting is working with other people and creating something. So that's gonna be exciting.
Like Kat said, our Ever Afterverse, our shared universe of books that includes Nightmare Wonderland we talked before and other mature fairy tale books. It's building towards something we're very excited for. And then, like Kat said, we have projects with other people. We have some anthologies coming up we're really excited about. We have a witch horror anthology coming in the fall, and then we'll actually be announcing our next anthology for open submissions in August, I believe. And
Awesome.
we're excited about that one. We think it's very accessible and different from anything else we've done, and tackles a personal interest of cats that she talks about a lot. um,
I actually might be wearing a shirt that might be related to what we're doing.
I
So
literally
read
didn't
the
even
shirt.
notice that.
Oh, perfect.
Just
Well, I have another question then, and this is completely off topic
uh
of comics. Do you watch women's basketball?
yes, I'm a very big WNBA fan. I'm actually going
Nice.
to see Liberty and what was going to be the Caitlin Clark game on Tuesday before Comic Con, but it's now going to be just the Indiana Fever, which I still very much enjoy. So very excited for it.
Awesome. I love it. I've been a pretty big WNBA fan over the last couple of years myself, so I look forward to going to a game sometime before I leave this earth.
It's your team.
Chicago. I'm a Sky fan.
And I respect Angel. I like them all. So, still haven't seen a Chicago game, but I've seen it. We actually when we went to Vegas last year, we went to go see Asia. We went to go see the Aces. So that was fun, and that was with Kelsey Plum. So I and what's so funny because Phil's not a sport like as much of a sports person, so it's like teaching him about women's sports, and now he like knows all these names. He's like, why do I know this name?
she as Kat said, growing up I was never really a sports person. My mom's a big sports person, and she always tried to get me. She would put me in like baseball teams and all that, and I would like pick flowers in the outfield and be like, that's not for me. But Kat talks about it all the time, and I have a very healthy respect for particularly like women's sports and women's basketball, which is her favorite because I like the drama, I like the
Me too.
the colorful personalities of it. So
Mm.
I'm excited to.
Stats, but tell me about the personal
We've
things
had
going
many
on.
conversations about that where Kat will go into this long diatribe about like the current drama of women's sports, and I'll be like, oh, that's really interesting. And then sometimes she'll be like, something about a free throw, and I'm like, Kat, I don't want to know about the actual game. I want to know. You could tell me about what's it called, me bounds, but I don't want to hear about how many rebound shots someone took.
Yeah, no. I was never really a basketball fan growing up. I was always football. I even played in middle school and high school. But the ferociousness and the just pure adrenaline that you get from seeing these women play basketball is insane. I love it.
So happy it's as popular as it is, and
Me too.
again, say the anthology coming up is show. Like I feel like people are talking about it. Obviously, like I go to many conventions. We're having a conversation now about it, but there's not a lot. Like there's not a lot of stories about it, so I'm really excited
Hmm.
about that aspect of
Oh,
like,
that's
oh,
exciting.
let's see what people could talk about with this.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I look forward to seeing how that turns out. So, last few questions, and I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for being on here. This has been absolutely fun. Um, is there a public property that you would like to put your own spin on and turn into a comic?
I'll say for me personally, Great Gatsby would really be fun. We haven't had an opportunity to really figure out what we do with that because it's very like outside of the ever afterverse. But Great Gatsby would be fun. I feel like we'll tackle it one day.
No, I agree. If we're talking public domain stuff that anyone can adapt, I I'm a big Tangled fan. I like Rapunzel a lot, and I think
Yeah.
I'll say we have a story for that. We just got to find the right time for it, and but I'm
Okay.
sure we will tackle that at some point. If we're talking not public domain IPs that we would have to get some sort of deal to do, Chucky is my favorite thing on the planet. So I that would be my dream, and
I want to write Chucky just for the sake of Phil writing Chucky, because I will say, and this is a tease, but next week we'll announce like a property that we have a story in that is being released next week that we haven't been officially able to announce, and it's my dream project. So I want Phil to be able to write his dream project.
Oh, that's awesome.
so someday, hopefully. But
Yeah.
no, honestly, we're fans of so many things that we'd be happy to work on like a variety of different projects. Cat,
Full circle, that would be fun, and we got to like write Angel of some sort.
oh yeah, that would really be full circle for us.
No, I get it. Chucky is actually one of the few horror characters I just cannot. Chucky and Pennywise. Those are the two I just cannot get into because they just absolutely terrify me.
I get
That's
that.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I was on the same field until Phil's like, I'm forcing you to watch it. I'm like, okay, like I get it now. Because like I always thought it was just like this weird, like obviously Child's Play was where it's like this weird little doll, but then it gets like weird and goofy, and I like that side.
It's
Yeah.
just so it's such a weird series because it's like sometimes it's like really horrific and sometimes it's
Hmm.
more of a comedy than a horror and then sometimes it's really queer and then sometimes it's not very queer. So I
Interesting.
just love the evolution. I love a long running horror franchise in general. Like Kat and I are both big horror fans, and I especially love the
Nice.
ones that get weird, like Jason going to space or Chucky randomly getting a wife and non-binary child. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that that's interesting. I like it. So last question, I'll let you guys go. Um, you get a lot of new creators coming to you quite often. Um, what is one piece of advice that you would like to give a new creator?
Um, Obviously you have the advice of like do your thing, which is definitely the advice I give, but I'll also give this side of the business cat advice is find your hook, right? Like do your thing, but then also find what makes your thing unique, and then you're gonna find people. Like if you just tell a superhero story that's just a superhero story, I don't know how much you're gonna find, but if you tell a superhero story from a queer perspective, like that's different. That's something I
Hmm.
haven't seen and is very personal to you if let's say you're a queer person. So like just find your hook, find your voice, and that doesn't have to happen overnight. Like just try to work on your craft, and also become friends with other people in the field, because that's really how you're going to get opportunities. And becoming friends is just as easy as, again, coming to a table and saying hi, and then you get to know each other.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think participate in the community that you want to break into. We've seen so many people launch their first project and have trouble finding footing because they're entering. It's hard to break into something, but if you've been a participant in the community, then you have people who are
Cool.
established who A will support you and B will help you, give you advice, share your work. I think that's really valuable. And then start small. Like don't be like I need to put out a 200-page graphic novel as my first project, or at least a 20-page issue, because and build to your graphic novel, because every time you put out a new issue, it's a new opportunity to make fans, and then by the time you hit your graphic novel, you'll have fans of all of the preceding issues. So don't do it all at once.
Yeah, that's really both of that. Both of you guys gave really good advice. I love it. So since we're wrapping up, tell the people where they can find you, follow, and get more of your work.
Yeah, for me, pretty much everywhere you can find us. We always suggest our newsletter too, Lifeline Comics. Really, we try to give a lot of good advice over there, and also it really is the best place to find out all the projects we're doing. We always announce what Kickstarters we're doing and different projects over there. So that's your lifeline for Lifeline Comics.
It's
I
your
like it.
magic band.
Your
Um,
magic band.
for me on social media, it's Phil Falco Writes on pretty much all of them. And then, like Kat said, our newsletter is a great resource. LifelineComics.com. You could find our library of books. And then right on the front page, there's always a carousel that'll show you our current campaigns. So you can always see our newest projects up there.
Nice. Yeah. If you any of you need any type of reason to follow their newsletter, I'm subscribed to the newsletter. I've read it every time it's released. Usually comes out while I'm at work, so I'm sitting at my desk, scrolling my phone, looking at it. So it's well worth it. Even the most recent one I liked because it talked about why a newsletter is important. So definitely go check them out. Links will be in the bio below. Kat, Phil, thank you for joining me on this YouTube channel. It's been great. I love what you guys do. I love what you guys stand for, and look forward to seeing more from you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the wonderful interview. It was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, again, I'm Gary. This has been the Divergent Comics YouTube channel. I hope you guys have a great